initial impressions of the new 2024 Skidoo E-Tech Turbo R XRS. Just picked this thing up. I was previously on, well, this sled right here. It's a 2019 Renegade X. Basically, the same kind of sled. That's a G-Force chassis. This is a G5 chassis. But they've really upgraded this machine. It's pretty impressive. My first impressions are basically from the gas cap back is all the same equipment except for an upgraded rear suspension. The older X had the external adjustments, and this sled has adjustments on the shocks. They've really upped the build quality on these sleds. Speed-wise, I mean, this thing has got to be faster than the 2019 850. The 850 ran a quarter mile at 11.9 at 100 miles an hour. So this 850 turbo will be faster than that. How much faster, I won't know until I get on a lake and actually GPS time it. One thing I do like the new shocks on here with the adjustment. These adjust now only 3 ways. So you can go, that's the middle position is medium, hard, and then full soft. So instead of going through multiple clicks on the shocks, they're just 3-way now. The gauge, I'm not a big fan of gadgets, but the gauge is integrated now into your cell phone and a new cluster adjustment here too. So that's nice. The shot starting system, that's the biggest new thing on this sled. Basically, you start this once in the morning, and I'm not a big guy. I'm like, 160 pounds, 5'8", so I was a bit worried about pulling these things over, but it starts super easy. Like 120 degrees of crank rotation starts these. And after you start it once, you just can start it with this button here, and it has a capacitor inside of the actually, I could open it up here and show you where it is. There's a capacitor here. Here it is, right here. The shot capacitor system here. So basically, that's got a capacitor, bunch of capacitors in it that gets charged by the magneto when the engine's running, and then it uses that to start the engine. Not with a starter, but it actually uses the magneto of the engine like a motor to start the engine. It's actually quite ingenious. I mean, they've been using it on the mountain sleds for years now. This is the first time they've had it at a low elevation sled. So that's pretty interesting how they utilize that. And this sled, as it sits, is the same weight as the Renegade X chassis was with electric start. So you've got the turbocharger, which is nestled right in there, and they made quite a nice panel here with lots of venting, because this is going to get hot as hell in here. So they did a good job with that. And of course, what differentiates this turbo sled from all the other ones on the market is, amazingly, an OEM manufacturer actually decided to go with water methanol injection on a turbocharged 2-stroke sled. I mean, that's just incredible that someone in the engineering department, they would have had a meeting and said, okay, what are we going to do? Oh, well, we could put an intercooler like everybody else and try to find a spot for it in the front and have all the charging, take piping and blah, 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 blah. And then finally somebody said, well, you know what, why don't we just do what drag racers do and inject water methanol to control the detonation on the engine and the intake temperature charge. So that's what they did. Incredible. That leads in the future, I mean, once the warranties, I get a 2-year warranty on this, but once the warranty's up, I am sure there's going to be tuners coming out of the woodwork boosting the hell out of these. I mean, these are 180 horsepower now. So when you have water methanol injection capability with an E-Tech, which is a direct injection engine, I mean, you could be leaning on this thing pretty hard. This is only using 7 pounds boost, I believe, currently. I haven't had it in the lake yet to verify what the peak boost is, but I mean, that's what the manufacturer says. So 7 PSI, that's half a bar. That's like half an atmosphere pressure, which is nothing, right? So, I mean, there's probably a lot of power improvement you could do on this. From the factory, you really get no options. I put a low windshield on it just for wind deflection. I mean, you can't really drive with the ultra skinny one. I studded it, 2 studs per window, and I put a power jack for the RCA helmet heater. So that's it. Other than that, it's completely stock. I'm really excited to see what this thing is like on the trail and on the lake, to see what kind of power this is. I was really happy with the last generation. This one here, this is a 2019. This is probably my favorite sled I've had. I'm not particularly brand specific. I mean, we've been riding here with Polaris. My last sled before this one was a 1100 Turbo Arctic Cat. But I think Skidoo has really got the chassis down now, handling wise and power wise. The 850s were just a beautiful motor. Hardly any smoke when we start the sleds up. My buddy's Polaris, I have to go out first because his is like a mosquito killing smoke show. So the E-Techs are just so nice. And I think one of the main things that makes these sleds so capable is the P-drive. Let me just flip this off here too. The P-drive clutch on these units are just incredible. Incredible engagement, incredible quickness, back shifting, up shifting. So I think maybe it's not quite all the motor that makes these sleds so fast, but it's a lot of the clutching that's involved. And I really like the P-drive clutch. And they changed this cooling system here, which wasn't on the G4 chassis. It looks like they've added a vent that fits right over here, so cold air is getting basically blown or forced right into the clutches. So hopefully that's going to keep it nice and cool. But yeah, I think this is maybe part of the methanol injection system here. I haven't really, looks like some kind of sensor, but yeah, so it'll be interesting to get this thing on the lake. I haven't really, other than just running around the yard, had a chance to use this. And with a 137 track, which, what is this? This comes with, you know, it should hook up pretty good and still be able to turn quite nicely. Another thing that they did on this one here, it's got four rear wheels, a tunnel strengthener, and some more strengtheners on the side here too. Other than that, it's pretty much the same as the G4 chassis. The front end is the new front end suspension. I think it's the RAS2 suspension on the front, the A-arms and whatnot. But they went with sort of a new version of the pilots as well. This is the X, they call them. And I've had previous sleds with the Pilot 5.7s, and I really liked those skis. This sled here came with the TX adjustables, which I was not as much a fan of handling, but the adjustment knob there with the carbides, you can just keep cranking it down, and you can grind these things. If you're doing a lot of road grinding, these things are awesome. I am able to get 3,000 kilometers on a set of these, whereas when on the old pilots with the 4-inch carbides, I'd be able to get like maybe 600K riding before they were burned out. So I'm back to that kind of style on these, but I think these are better handling skis. And of course, we put the outside carbide. If no one knows that little trick, basically it helps stop darting and wearing the outside edge of your ski down. So, and they're drilled for it, so you can just add that on there easy. So, but yeah, very nice sled. I mean, they've they're getting close to automotive quality on these machines now. These are really well put together machines now. Just a beautiful machine. So I think they only made 750 of these this year, so it's going to be a pretty rare sled on the trail. And yeah, so that's my first impressions of it. I'm going to do GPS runs on the lake with it to actually, you know, see how fast it really is. Not heads up drag racing you always see on the internet. I mean, that has nothing to do with the speed of the machine. That's just reaction time of the driver. But yeah, so I know what the old 850 Renegade did. So it'll just be basically what the increase in power the turbo outputs, that'll be the difference. So yeah, I'll follow up with that in the winter as soon as we get some good snow.